I was still thinking playoffs, and not anymore.
That's you gotta have. You gotta figure Luck's gonna go through our stage.
Andrew Luck?
Yeah, he went 3-13 his first year. Eli went 0-6 his first 6 starts.
Well, that's the thing, and that's why I think Matt Schaub. Well, I think that if Peyton Manning, if I do get Andrew Luck, and I go into next season having Matt Schaub and having Peyton Manning, I think that, you try to make a move with one of them. I think that Matt Schaub would obviously be the more valuable commodity. But I don't know. Here's the.
Peyton Manning, so.
Well, the other thing is, in a 10-man league, though, how valuable is Schaub or Manning?
Manning would be valuable.
But, I mean, he's 35 right now.
It's someone going for it
all. Well, I mean, look at Ika.
Steve Jackson, but to me, I really coveted getting an extra first-round pick.
Right, well, listen to me. Look at the top teams, though, because you got the Evil Monkeys, who has Aaron Rodgers. If you're Ika, why do you want Peyton over Eli? Why would you do that? So look at...
He doesn't believe in Eli. I know the reason why I didn't trade for Eli. Because I already got Bradshaw and Cruz, and it's not good to have
all those Giants
guys in the same offense in your fucking team.
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you that from a number of different perspectives. Goes back to the Chargers with
it doesn't work. You gotta.
Well, I mean, because no, you do have to consolidate. I mean, because look, I mean, ultimately, like a great combination would be like obviously Aaron Rodgers being the top quarterback, and then having a Mike Wallace, a Stevie Johnson, just spreading the ball around. Speaking of that though, Eli Manning's really starting to spread the ball around. And how about, did you see in the Sir Yes Sir League who has Jake Ballard? Oh yeah, picked him up off waivers a week ago.
I have 3 good tight ends, otherwise I would have done it too. But I'll tell you another thing though, man. Everyone was tearing up on Jerry Reed, letting everybody go. He's a good GM. The Ernie Arcosi era is over. We don't lose one plug and lose 12 games.
Well,
we got a guy who can draft talent.
I think that it's more about drafting talent, Paint, than standing your, than all this, because ultimately what's been responsible this year for, I mean, Corey Webster has played very well this year, and Deion Grant obviously had a great game on Sunday, but I think the Giants' pass rush has ultimately delivered for the Giants this year, and that's been about, I think, game plan as much as anything. Obviously, Pierre-Paul, and they just got Umanura back, and Tuck has been in and out of the lineup, but had a good year, but I think it's been more about the game plan. I think you have to give, Perry Fuel a lot of credit this year. Absolutely.
Our GM is a genius, man.
I know, you always love it on the GM, but I don't think Perry Fuel is getting the credit that he deserves this year.
I love Perry Fuel, don't get me wrong, but, dude, I hated Arcosi. I hated him.
Well, yeah, we all know that. Well, he had a bad draft.
When they interviewed Reese, and he goes, do you think you can compete with the Eagles? He goes, yeah, sure I do. I think we can win the division. I think we got a championship team putting on the field this year. He was after Boss and C. Smith are gone. He wasn't even paid.
Right.
Well, he would have been like, well, it's part of the business. You lose a player, and you hope the guy you drafted or picked up is going to fill in.
Right.
Bird is a douche.
No, well, the issue, in my opinion, I mean, and then when did that GM transition take place? When did that happen?
What?
When did Ernie, when did he leave? He was fired, or did he?
He was a fucking figurehead since Coughlin was in town. It was clear Coughlin was calling a lot of shots the second Coughlin came in. I mean, his second draft pick overall was his son-in-law.
Well, yeah, but you would say that Coughlin has been out of the personnel decisions for at least 4 years now.
But his first actual draft, where there was no Cozy, his first actual draft where he was completely in charge on paper, just in the room.
Well,
the year they won the Super Bowl.
Well, what's his face? I think the Maras actually had taken a more active hand at that point, if memory serves. I mean, I'm not a Giant fan, so, but I thought it was the Mara, the young.
Said to Ernie or Cozy, it says you're retired. For these next 2 years, you're just going to be a figurehead because it's cheaper for us to let you finish your contract than to fire you.
And it was John Mara. I think it was John Mara in conjunction with Tom Coughlin running the team. Right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Isn't that the son's name, right? John Mara. I mean, obviously Wellington the father, but Wellington.
So I know it was under the year. It was Reese who found Kiwanuka.
Right. And Kiwanuka's had an amazing year. Kiwanuka's had a very good year.
I just picked him up. He got me 10 points.
Kiwanuka, speaking of that, did you see in your league, I picked up Dansby from Miami. He had like a 14-point week. The former,
Miami's going to win all the games. That's why I think Luck's going to be a Colt.
You think Miami's going to catch fire here?
Yeah. We've been playing well for a month.
Matt Moore.
That check game was a lot closer than the score showed.
Yes. Matt Morris had 2 very good games in a row. And he's starting to find Marshall. He found Fasano twice. Fasano might be, a hot tight end here the rest of the way.
Plus, that defense is fucking on fire right now.
I watched that game, and the Chiefs, the Chiefs are so hot and cold on offense that, you never know what you're watching. But the Chiefs actually passed the ball very well.
I bet you Jackie Battle, dude, because you don't know what you're getting.
Well, no, see, I was going to see that. I think the Chiefs passed better than you would perceive. I mean, I actually watched most of that game. The Chiefs passed better than you would think, but they did not run the football at all. The Dolphins had them. They couldn't run the football up the middle. They had nothing. They could go to the outside a little bit, and but the play action had nothing because if they're play actioning up the middle, the defense just wasn't buying it. But Matt Castle actually made some plays, rolling out on the run. Made some good throws. He was hitting Dwayne Bowe early. They had a nice little game. But I do agree with you. The Dolphin defense, very, very good.
On fire right now. They're going to be a tough team.
They are going to piece together some wins. I wouldn't be surprised if they deal a death blow to Buffalo. I don't think Buffalo is,
We were a good test for the Giants before the Patriots. The Giants almost got caught in a trap game.
I think a lot of teams. I think you're going to see now they beat the hell out of Kansas City in Kansas City. They went into Kansas City.
They went to the Giants Stadium twice this year, almost won both games.
They are. Well, Sperano's a good coach.
These guys don't stop playing.
And Sperano. Sperano has something to do with that.
It's very hard that you see a whole franchise quit in the NFL. These guys want the paychecks to keep coming. They want to be. They're getting fired. They want to be rehired somewhere else.
I'm telling you, the Vikings were on the verge of that. And then they made the quarterback move, and the Vikings had a chance at beating Green Bay. The Vikings are one of the only teams who've had a chance at beating Green Bay this year. And then
we're going to beat Green Bay in the Meadowlands. We're going to beat them. Don't forget, Green Bay was 10-6 last year. If the Giants get an onside kick and beat the Eagles,
well,
see, for home field advantage.
Well, I think you guys.
Green Bay doesn't make the playoffs. The Giants get an onside kick last year. So to hear that
how about?
I think everyone better shut up because the Giants are going to take them.
Yeah, well, Payne, how about this? Well, the Eagles would have made the playoffs if McBriar could simply kick the ball out of bounds. Right? Wasn't that it? Mac McBriar, the punter? What was the punter's name?
No, because the game was already tied. The key was the onside kick.
Oh, that's right. You go to overtime. Right.
It was the whole key. The key was that last 7.5 minutes. The Giants had 4.5 bad quarters in a row. That would be the last quarter against the Eagles and the whole game against the Packers. They had a Super Bowl team last year.
Ooh, the Giants?
Yeah.
Well, of course they did. They were 10-6. They should have been 12-4. Of course they did. Of course they did. The way they stomped on Minnesota was embarrassing last year. But,
They beat the shit out of the East 3.5 quarters, and then 7 minutes. It just went off. And that's why the Monkeys beat me. 7 minutes. Shot Rocky.
Didn't you guys lose to Grossman too, or no?
Opening day, but who cares?
No, but I'm talking about I'm with Washington. But
we lost to Washington.
So I'm just saying, it's you guys definitely earned your 6 losses last year for the most part. But one of the first teams in NFL, or one of the rare teams in NFL history to not make the playoffs at 10-6. I mean,
there's another stat too, man. The Patriots went 14-2 one year. They lost to the Buffalo Bills 31-0 opening day. In the last game of the season, they returned the favor by beating the Bills 31-0, and they were 14-2 and won the Super Bowl.
that was the final Super Bowl, 2003.
It was either the second to last one or the last one, yeah.
The last one was over the Eagles. The second to last one was the Panthers.
Yeah.
I think they went 14-2 the year they beat, actually, Carolina. Now, let me ask you this, Payne, because I was thinking about this earlier today. So, I mean, obviously it looks like the Giants, I mean, they're not going to get a bye week because...
14-2 2 years in a row.
Right, but they lost the other year. The Colts they lost to the Colts. They had a 24. Do you remember that year though? They had a 20. What was in one of those years? They had a 24-3 lead against Indianapolis, and
that was when they were 12-4, like 2 years later.
24-3, right at halftime or in the second quarter, and they lost that game. Pretty tough one, Tom. And that's the year the Colts won the Super Bowl. So Bill Belichick has certainly made a ton of bad decisions when he has the lead twice now at the Colts, because he did that against the Colts a couple years ago when the Colts made it back to the Super Bowl. If you remember, going for it on fourth down, and he did the thing during the regular season against Indianapolis. He did like the same thing. I mean, it wasn't the same exact play, but they blew it to the Colts.
The Giants can stop anybody with that defensive line enough to win a game.
It's going to be your game against Green Bay, which is December 4th, which we know will be a night game. Now, it's listed at 4:15, although Fox does have the ability to protect like 1 or 2 games against the Sunday night grab. But you would think that December 4th game will go to Sunday night. Right now, it's listed as a national game. But you guys have awesome games to look forward to. I sure hope you beat the hell out of San Francisco and put them in their place. Then you got to host Philadelphia.
I was going to get that next. Honestly, outside of LaShawn McCoy, we have not seen a running back.
Like Frank Gore?
And Frank Gore is running.
Right, well, Steven Jackson was hurt.
He's not breaking the 60-yarders anymore. Remember what that Chinese guy said? All Frank Gore can do is break big ones?
Yes.
And man, dude, I would love to meet that guy. Just slap his head right now.
It's too bad he's not around.
He is more consistent this year, and he's going to break big ones as the season goes. He has it. But I'll be honest with you, Maurice Jones-Drew and him, like back in the day, we hear touchdown, 80-yard run.
Right, Frank Gore.
80-yard run. They don't quite have that burst like they used to. That's why I needed to trade Steven Jackson.
Well, I think that...
I'm going after a home run hit and young running back. I guarantee you that.
Well, something was a little weird, Pate, that week that Kendrick was listed as the starting running back, and yet Frank Gore ran for over 130 yards that week. There's something that...
Yeah, dude, I know. I lost it. I benched him that week.
There was something that was a little weird that week, and now Frank Gore has been on fire ever since. You know what I mean?
That started his fucking string of 500-yard games. And he's doing it on less than 20 carries. That's the stat that's sick.
That's the old Frank Gore.
Yarders anymore. He's getting a lot of 8 to 10 to 15-yard runs.
I think that the quarterback...
No one slithers through a hole. Like, slithers through a hole that is...
Well, but Payne, here's the thing. You can't gauge Frank Gore from the last 2 or 3 years when he had a rotating door of quarterbacks come in and out of there, including Sean Hill. They couldn't decide on Alex Smith. They had, Troy Smith, one of those running backs. Not Troy Smith because he was with Baltimore. Help me out, Payne. One of those type running backs stepped in there. They've had about 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the last 2 or 3 years there. And when you have all that, the uncertainty and no passing game and a developing Crabtree, Brandon Lloyd in and out of the
It's a good and interesting point because for years, most of my fantasy points came on receptions and runs after each catch from him.
From Frank Gore, yes.
And big runs. But this year, he's not getting many receptions.
No.
He's just running the rock.
You give him the ball 20 times, he's getting 120 yards, 1-2 touchdowns. You know, he's definitely back into the Adrian Peterson category of running back.
No one slithered through a hole like Gore? Nobody.
Yes.
Better than Jones.
Oh, MJD. Yes, exactly. MJD would be the only one coming close in that argument.
But Frank is running, dude. He's running, dude.
I tell you though.
You know what, dude? I'm due to draft another great one because my first year I drafted Gore and I picked up Jones Drew as my first free agent pickup, and he was a rookie. Those guys have been on my team 6 years. You know, I have had a carousel of receivers. Donald Driver and Bobby Ingram got old. Those two have won a lot of games for me.
Deion Branch. Right?
Out of the lineup, you know, off the team. It's just, I really
now
have Branch.
Do you have Jordy?
To my other receivers.
Did you
That
get?
may have been a mistake, but
did you get Jordy back?
Want explosive receivers, and
did you get Jordy? Did you get Jordy back?
No.
Where is he now?
Everyone you name.
No, Jordy.
Touched by an Uncle. Touched by an Uncle has a lot of Puffin Painters.
Such as Jordy Nelson.
And Dequel Jackson.
Oh, pain.
Dude, he's an awesome player now.
He's got Jake Ballard.
Yeah, he doesn't fuck around, dude. He's coming in. See, we all got these plans with guys, and we're willing to sit on some guys. He's coming in fresh.
He's got Haloti Nada, you know.
He got the pieces he needed to keep, but he's coming in with the fresh.
He's got Obanaya. He's got Obanaya.
Yeah, dude, he's a Maglio.
He's a freaking Maglio. You name the young player, he has him. And he got all these guys. He probably got David Nelson.
I have a ton of young players, too. My team, my running backs are old. Tom Brady's old.
Hey.
A lot of youth. And Fred Jackson. Davis has done an amazing job.
Hey, let me point this out. Let me point this out. Okay? And this I really have to respect him for. He has Ballard, Tony Gonzalez, and Dustin Keller. And he started Jake Ballard this week, and Jake Ballard outscored the other two tight ends. He's a player.
He's a player.
You brought in a player, Paint. Now he's got Fred Jackson. And he started Andy Dalton, who scored 31.
You know what, though? I knocked him out in the semis of the Seattle League, and he was the number one. I'm 5-0 versus number one seed. And he's one of them. I have beaten in all the different leagues I play. I have been a giant killer. He's one of the giants I've killed in the Seattle League.
You're lucky that...
I was the last seed in the playoffs, last spot to get in, and I just absolutely fucking...
You're lucky that Blue Line beat him. I mean, now that's a major step back. That's one of the only reasons you're still alive. Is because the uncle went down.
I beat Sex Panther too, man.
In a pathetic matchup, 176 to 171. Come on now.
I needed that ugly win. I needed that. I have gotten thumped by everyone with 250s while I'm scoring well over 200.
The guy started John Baldwin and Beanie Wells. I mean, and you should beat a team like that.
Yeah, but my team did not score touchdowns. Amon Bradshaw was out. My team, I only had one touchdown outside of Tom Brady on my roster last week. They're all putting up yards. Now I need touchdowns. Only Damian Williams got me a touchdown outside of Tom Brady's 2 touchdown passes.
Damian Williams.
I'm riding him, dude. He's Matt Hasselbeck's go-to guy. And trust me, dude. Matt Hasselbeck locks in.
Matt Hasselbeck had a very good week.
Matt Hasselbeck, number 1 receivers. They're never the most popular guy in
well,
his favorite target.
His main number 1 got hurt, right?
Mike Williams.